Hello everyone, welcome to the first instance in everything you need to know. And I mean everything that I know in relating to Minecraft commands and data packs. The first thing I'm going to show you is my data pack world. You will learn how to make stuff like this, custom blocks that you can place down and break, and how to, well, make ATM machines. Now, I'm not going to actually show you how to make this stuff, I'll just show you everything you need to know to be able to make this stuff. Not in this episode, though. I'm going to do a whole series. So, first of all, to make a data pack world, creative mode, super fast, obviously, turn generate structures off. And also, you're going to have to disable mob spawning. Here we are. Alright, now that I've made a big section using Axiom, now we can actually start with the episode. So today we're going to cover two topics. The first topic is basic commands, and the second topic is, well, data pack structure, and well, how do you make data packs. First of all, we'll get more into detail on the execute command, but the first thing I'm going to show you is that if, example, I wanted myself to teleport. I want it to TP, which is a command. So each of these at A things, at A is every player, at E is every entity including players, at N is nearest player, I think. No, nearest entity. At P is nearest player, and at R is random player. So what I'm gonna use is just at P, which is the nearest player. And then I'm going to teleport to where the command block is, which is squiggly, which is basically just locational. So if this command block was in another spot, it will teleport to the command block instead of being a set location. And as you can see, if I press this button, it's very simple, it teleports me there. Now, let's say I want to make it so that I constantly get teleported one block up again and again and again. How you would do that is using the best and most used command in the game called execute. Execute has a bunch of stuff, but for now we're only going to use as and at. So, and run, but you know. We're going to execute as, which as what entity, at P, nearest player, at where we're going to execute the command, at S, which is yourself. So it's going to go, I'm going to run the next command as the nearest player and at the person that is running the command. Now we can do run, TP, and then the locational stuff. And then this one right here means up. Now the cool thing is that you can add a number beside it, and it will take the position, which is the squiggly, and add 1 to it. So as you can see, when I press this button, we gotta specify the player and remove any spaces. When we press the button, it teleports me 1 block up as if I was jumping. Now, as you can see, if I just remove this at part, it will actually execute it where the command block is. So you see, it just teleports me like that. So that's why I always make the habit of just adding at S. Now, how do I specify if I want one person or one entity to do a thing, but I don't exactly know the name of that entity? So what you could do is tags. These tags basically, it's kind of like adding a name to an entity so that you can always refer to that entity. So tag, let's say tag at P with add, and then what should be the tag name? Let's say it's going to be nearest player. Now you can use this as for different purposes. Now if I do tag at S list, you can see that I have the tag nearest player. I'm just going to remove that tag because yes. But this is very useful for making custom entities or making if statements. Alright, one thing that's really cool that you can do is, well, let's do execute as the nearest player, add at s, so that it runs out the player, run TP, and instead of squiggly, 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 which just teleports me into a specific direction, you can do forwards, forwards, forwards. And this means where you're looking. If you add a 1 at the end, it will teleport you 1 block forward. So I'm just going to do 0.1 so it's not that fast. And then I'm going to do repeating. And as you can see, wherever I'm looking, it teleports me that way. Which is really cool. Now, the last command that we're going to go in is another execute command, which is execute if. Now, this is really cool. Let's say I want to execute if. Let's execute as at p, and at p, at s. And then we're going to do run. If, so it's going to run the command if this happens. Block. If the block underneath us, which, by the way, when where the player's standing, it doesn't go to the head or the middle, it goes to the feet. So if you do -1, it's the block right below, and if you go +1, it's the block that the head is at. And let's say that if it's air, if the bottom block is air, it's gonna run the command say stop flying, and then an angry emoji. There you go. So now you see it. When I'm over the air, it says stop flying. Now, as you can see, since it's running the command as if I was running it myself, that's what the as thing does, it says that I'm saying it. But to remove that, all you have to do is, instead of saying say, you can use tell raw. Now, this is really useful. There's generators online to make colors and stuff, to add colors and stuff, because I'm not that technical. So here it says who it's gonna say it to, and stop flying. So now it says it in chat without specifying who it is. Now, along with that command, there's also execute unless, which is the opposite. So it's not gonna execute it if this is true. Now, on to the folder structure. Now, I use Visual Studio Code to program. As you can see here, you can see some of my programming stuff. So as you can see, everything starts with execute because it's the most useful thing. But instead of going on here, I'm just gonna go. Now, how I get the folder structure, you can do this in different ways. The folder where your data pack folder, I just open the resource packs, I go back to .minecraft, and then saves, and then look for yours, which for mine is tutorial world, and data packs. Now I just copy this, Control C. I go back over here, I go open folder, and boom. If I select the folder. Now, here's the folder structure. So listen carefully and make sure that it's exactly the same. The folder names have to be exactly the same. So the first folder, you can just name it whatever you want. This is the name of your data pack. So it's going to do tutorial data pack. And then we have pack.mc meta. Now what you're going to put in here is you're going to put this. I'm copying this from the Minecraft wiki. You're going to put this. So data pack, so the pack format is basically the version of the data pack that updates with each version. So if they update data packs, they update it. So for the latest version right now, 1.21.4 is 61. As you can see, pack format is 61. Now in the description is when you put it on a data pack onto the world screen. You actually see the description and PNG, but I'm not going to put a PNG because I don't feel like it. So I'm just going to do that. Okay. Data pack. Format. Tutorial series. Now, where do we actually get to the programming? Here we go. So we're gonna go here to data. No, not in here. Inside of the data pack. So in here, we're gonna go data. I do have a couple extensions, by the way. I recommend Data Pack Helper Plus and Data Pack Icons. Very useful. Inside of data, we're gonna put the namespace. What the namespace is that, as you can see, when I do when you do slash function, you do basically running a custom command. What you do is that you do slash function and then the namespace, and then the actual function. So let's say I want my namespace to be just usually you want it to be short so that you can type it fast. So I'm just gonna put TD for tutorial data pack. Put it whatever you want. And then in that, you're gonna put function. In here, you're actually gonna put in your MC functions and stuff, but we're not done. I'm gonna take a look at my previous data packs just to see if I'm right with this. Remember, Minecraft.wiki and just the internet is your best resource for programming. From data to Minecraft. Now in Minecraft, we're gonna put tags. And then in tags, we're gonna put function again. In here, we don't touch anything, okay? We're just gonna put these two files, which is load.json. This is optional, by the way, you don't have to do it. And tick.json. I'm just gonna copy and paste what I have over here. So for load, you're gonna do and then in here in td slash function or whatever you have it as, you're gonna do a new file. This is where you put your code in. Let's say load.mc function. Now you gotta put that .mc function, by the way. And in load, you're gonna do load td load. So when the data pack loads, it's gonna run this function. And then you just do the same thing, but for tick. Tell you what tick does in a second. Tick.mc function. What tick does is that it runs every single tick. Every single tick is 1/20th of a second. It runs, this is basically repeating, and this is once. As you can see, it has impulse and repeating command block. So let's say that once it runs, I want it to say reloaded. This is very useful to see if your data pack is working. It might actually not be working, so let's hope it does. Reload. Server, reloaded. See? Now in tick, let's say we want to check execute as at p if block, and then we do what I told you guys earlier, which is -1 air run say stop flying. Now like this, it will, each and every tick is gonna do that. Now obviously you can't do everything just in here, but a good thing to do is to make your own functions. So let's say summon zombie.mc function. You can name these functions whatever you want. Here, you can run other functions in other functions. So if you want a separate tick function, then you can do that. But for summon zombie, what I'm gonna do is just do /summon zombie. Is gonna do /function, and then you gotta reload it. Remember to reload, and then /function td summon zombie, and that just summons the zombie. One more thing that I want to talk about is parameters. Now, how can you use tags to specify the object? I already said that you can do it, but how do you do it? So let's say that we have, I'm going to use data packs now, so I'm going to do So let's say I want to specify people. I want to specify uh, resident of town. Let's say. Usually you don't want these tags long. Okay. And then what you can do over here is that, let's say, execute as, and then instead of writing at P, you can do at A to specify that it has to be a player. But instead of every single player, you can put these little square brackets and do tag equals resident of town, right? And then at as run, and then if okay, so as you can see, it's literally the same thing as last time. It's just specifying that it has to be a resident of town. So now if I do slash reload, you see it does the same thing. But then if I remove the tag, it doesn't do it anymore. You see? There's a lot of stuff that you can do. For example, resident of Flower Town, at resident of Flower Town, and then you can do slash limit equals 1, sort equals nearest, which makes it so that the nearest one person that has that tag resident of Flower Town. And what you can also do is distance. So you can specify a distance, so specifically 2 blocks away from me. Or you could do dot equals dot dot 1 to 1 block away, which is if it's 1 block away from me or less. So in a specific range, which is really useful. As you can see here, you can see that I use everything that I've taught you here. I do as specifying the person that I want and giving speed, and this we'll do later. But as you can see, every single one is execute, and what this does is just programs car into Minecraft. Not only that, it has a few more functions, obviously, but isn't that cool? That's the end of episode 1. Bye. See you in the next episode.